Last time on Sakamoto Days, the once legendary, now retired assassin, Taro Sakamoto, is forced to bring back his lethal skills again when Shin, his former partner, gets involved in an all-out war with his employer for refusing to kill Sakamoto. His chubby, laid-back appearance in no way compromises his deadly abilities as he demonstrates why he's so legendary. Though his decision about staying retired is final, he even offers Shin a job at his store. However, with a name as infamous as his, trouble is always creeping around the corner. Let's find out how he tackles those tricky situations, while trying to manage a normal family life as well in Episode 2. Episode 2 starts off with Shin rambling on about Sakamoto's heroics from the previous night. How he was able to kill his foes with ease. Sakamoto's wife, Aoi, catches this and immediately asks Sakamoto if he had broken their family rule, sending shivers down Sakamoto's spine, something even his deadliest enemies were never able to do. She reminds Sakamoto about the penalty for breaking the family rule: divorce. Sakamoto abruptly denies doing anything of the sort, and Aoi heads outside as if nothing happened. After killing Shin in his mind for saying unnecessary stuff, the two head out to Nikita Chinatown. Sakamoto had gone there to buy special pork buns for his family, of which only 50 were sold each day. Shin tears up at this heartwarming gesture, although all of a sudden, a girl comes flying from a window above right onto Sakamoto, squishing the buns in the process. This mystery girl, Lu Xiaotang, was being chased by a bunch of mobsters. She is able to fend them off decently using Tai Chi, at which point Shin realizes she wasn't any ordinary girl. One of the mobsters then tries stabbing her as another holds her still, but gets his knife broken in two by Sakamoto's tongues. Sakamoto and Shin then make a run for it, taking the girl with them. The man who had ordered her capture, the CEO of the Dan Mafia family, isn't pleased when he learns that she got away again, especially because he had to kill her entire family because of a key they possessed. Figuring it was time to call in the big guns, the mob boss tells his men to bring them in. After which, in the blink of an eye, the man who had previously been in charge of capturing Lu gets his head sliced off as a gigantic bald assassin makes his entry, followed by an equally terrifying-looking assassin. The Don then orders them to get the key from Lu at all costs, permitting them to kill anyone who gets in the way. Meanwhile, Lu tells Sakamoto and Shin that she was the daughter of the Lu Mafia clan, and was currently being pursued because she had the key to the clan's hidden vault. Shin tells her to give up the key since no treasure could be worth more than her life, but Lu remains adamant about protecting it, as it was the last thing her parents entrusted to her before their death. Shin tries going after her before Sakamoto pulls him back like a spring recoiling. Sakamoto then announces their shopping for the day was over, and now they were going to protect Lu in exchange for some pork buns. Before the deal's finalized, one of the hitmen sends Sakamoto flying into the building behind them with a brutal kick. Bacho and Sun Hee, the two twin assassins, spelled bad news as Lu immediately recognized the notorious duo, who were infamous for always getting their target and sketching their heads afterwards. Bacho then goes after Lu but gets punched right through the roof by Sakamoto as the showdown between these skilled assassins begins. After revealing they were the ones who had killed Lu's family, Sun Hee throws a knife at Lu, which Sakamoto catches with his bare hands. Sakamoto then recalls the early days of his relationship with Aoi, when the family rule was set, which was that Sakamoto would not kill again. Sakamoto had promised her that he would no longer spend his life taking lives and instead would save them. And that is exactly what he was trying to do right now. Sakamoto then fends the brothers and deadly weapons off using kitchen utensils. The brothers then decide to bring out their final move, the cast iron technique, slashes of hell, unleashing a series of deadly, lightning-fast combo slashes. To their shocking surprise, Sakamoto is able to dodge all of them without getting the slightest graze on him. The brothers then try it again, but Sakamoto cuts them off halfway through, announcing their attack by smashing Bacho with a pot. Realizing they had bitten off more than they could chew, Sanhee decides to just go after Lu instead. Listening in thanks to his psychic powers, Shin doesn't let him as he throws him down by pulling him back with an assassin's cord. By smashing a mini fridge over him, Sakamoto puts an end to the troublesome assassin brothers. Back at the Lu family vault, the Dan Mafia family's CEO grows impatient that the brothers had still not come back with the key. That's when Sakamoto and Shin return the so-called deadly assassins back to him, while Lu subdues him. After giving him a good beating, Lu finally opens the vault. Inside lay many treasures of the Lu family. However, the most significant one was a bottle of liquor that Lu's father had been saving to drink with her one day. Lu shares the drink with her new comrades, whereas Sakamoto brings out the squished pork buns from earlier, which still tasted good as the trio enjoy a joyous, carefree moment together. It's the next day, and Lu has also taken up work at Sakamoto's now. After Shin mentions how moving Sakamoto's real reasoning behind not killing was, Sakamoto presents him with the Sakamoto family rulebook since he too was now a part of it. It had not to kill anyone as its first rule, which Sakamoto tells Shin to abide by, or else he'll kill him, contradicting his own rule. Elsewhere, a meeting between suspicious people reveals the bounty on Sakamoto's head was set at 1 billion yen by the JAA. Episode 3 starts off with Shin's organized work ethic, clashing with Lu's disorderly and outright atrocious working skills. Shin calls Lu out for having never worked in her life before. However, that wasn't true, as Lu mentions her time working as a grave digger for her father's mafia work. The two quarrel their way over to Sakamoto for guidance on the matter, but get surprised when Sakamoto actually starts giving some in the form of long, articulate answers. Bewildered at this sight, since he had never seen Sakamoto speak this much, Shin wonders what was wrong with him when suddenly another Sakamoto walks into the store. The two Sakamotos then pull their weapons on each other at the same time, equaling each other in skill level as well. However, the one with the gun turns out to be Nagumo, an old assassin partner of Sakamoto's, who started out around the same time as him, and was thus 27 years old presently. Nagumo then bursts out laughing at Shin and Lu for totally falling for his little trick, and gets punished accordingly, right after. He then breaks the news that the JAA had announced a 1 billion yen bounty on Sakamoto, and numerous assassins were probably on the lookout for him. As he's telling this, a pizza delivery guy enters the shop and pulls out his pizza cutter, as he announces himself as Pizza Nakajima. He then puts his pizza cutter up to Nagumo's neck, threatening to take his life unless his demands are met. Sakamoto completely ignores Nakajima while munching down on the free pizza that came crawling to his shop. Nagumo, who had already freed himself, gets up behind the pizza assassin and grabs him in a chokehold. Sakamoto stops Nagumo from going too far and he lets him go, although he was out cold by that point. Nagumo questions Sakamoto's chances of surviving if he was actually trying to get through this ordeal without killing anyone. Sakamoto then asks Nagumo if he knew who was behind this and why, to which he replies he had no knowledge of it. Nagumo lets them know that from here on out, they shouldn't be expecting amateurs like ones from the Dan family, as he leaves with Pizza Nakajima, bidding one last farewell to his old comrade. Shin hurries after him, but he had already vanished at that point. At some shady meeting, the matter of Sakamoto's assassination is being discussed as they go over how he was proving to be more difficult than they expected. A man sitting at the head of the table then emphasizes the importance of outsmarting Sakamoto in every possible way, as that was the only way of winning against a former order member, and was the way they did things at Dodenkai. All of a sudden, their meeting gets interrupted by Sakamoto, who warns them to stay away from his family if they didn't want to experience a fate worse than death, and shoots the bug camera they had planted in his shop. Meanwhile, Shin and Sakamoto decide to lay low for a while till this settles when Hana comes running to Sakamoto wearing bunny ears and excited about tomorrow. Sakamoto had forgotten about his day at the amusement park with his family. It's the next day, and Aoi and Hana enjoy their time at the park. Unlike Sakamoto, Shin and Lu, who knew what was up. Shin tells Lu their mission for the day was to guard the Sakamotos and let them enjoy a nice family time. Shin then demonstrates the full extent of his psychic abilities that let him read the thoughts of everyone around him within a distance of 30 meters. Lu freaks out at him for reading her mind all this time, although Shin clarifies he wasn't since he needed to concentrate for that. Shin then spots the janitor assassin creeping up on Sakamoto and tips him off. Sakamoto, without even looking at him, stabs the janitor assassin using a simple ballpoint pen. As Shin and Lu hide the poor assassin away, the spiky silver-haired man from earlier looks on from afar. Realizing he would need to slip past Shin's radar if he wanted to get close to Sakamoto, he turns his thoughts off and blends in with them perfectly. On the coaster, the silver-haired assassin makes his move finally, shooting at Sakamoto. However, Sakamoto survives thanks to his bulletproof glasses. Shin then gets out of the coaster mid-ride and jumps over to the assassin, taking him out and down with him. The two pros face off on the coaster tracks. The silver-haired assassin then throws two knives at Shin, one of which he dodges. However, he gets scraped a little by the second one. Laced with poison, it immediately starts taking effect as the silver-haired assassin tells Shin his fear of death would prove to be his and Sakamoto's shortcoming. Shin defends Sakamoto's reason to fear death since he has a family to protect now and decides to do whatever it takes to let him have family time. Pouncing at him using the coaster as leverage, Shin then takes a free fall with the silver-haired assassin into a tent where a show was being enacted. Disguising himself as Sugar Bunny, Shin lets loose on his foe as Sakamoto watches intently from the audience, accurately predicting his combos. Despite being almost blind from the poison, Shin manages to completely overpower his enemy, who who puzzles over how he was still able to see him despite the blinding poison. However, Shin didn't need to rely on his vision to defeat someone who didn't have a conviction as strong as his, and with a final dropkick, Shin defeats the silver-haired assassin while the crowd cheers him on, thinking it was still a part of the show. Stay connected, like and subscribe for more fun recaps on One and Only Endless Recaps.